Welcome back to another episode of Ravens Roundup. I am your host, Coach Evans, and I have my co-host here with me. If I can fix my mic, got all four of the guys in here together. So, first up, we'll start with Jose. What's good with your Jose from Lunch Break Hot Take?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, fellas? What's going on, chat?
Next, we got Sutton from my Purple Rain podcast. What's good with you? You probably just finished, didn't you?
Yes, I did. You know, lots of crazy news coming out of the castle today, so I'm ready to talk about it, man. Let's get it.
And then last but definitely not least, 2/3 of a Deep Cover podcast, Chris Just Joking and Kerry. What's up, gentlemen?
What's going on, Coach?
Yo, what's up, man?
Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. We're ready to get to it.
We're going to see if we can get Mike out that tree for tomorrow and get this thing rolling. He going to kill me for that. All right, first up on the bat. And I'll put it at the bottom so you guys can see it. Let's see if this will work right. There we go. All right. Odafe Oweh was traded. We all know that as of now for Aloha Gilman. So putting that in perspective, you know, Oweh for Gilman, what does that mean to you? And I start with you, Chris.
Hey, man, first we got a light one for Yolanda. We got a light one up for her.
Hold on. I do this for Yolanda. Hold on.
Shout out Yolanda.
Put my phone
up. So when I saw it, I was like, yeah, you know, the writing was kind of on the wall. Actually, it was yesterday, right, Kerry, that we were talking about Oweh and his snaps with Mike Green.
Yeah.
So we were actually just talking about that yesterday. And so when I saw the news, I was like, okay, you know, hopefully they got like a third or something like that. You're welcome, Yolanda. And then I saw it was for a safety and a late round pick, and I was like, I mean, there might be something else brewing, but because you know you do have the extra cap space, but I don't know. I can't just say, oh yeah, there's something coming down the pike, because we don't know that. I mean, we hope there is, but we don't know that for sure. So as of right now, I'm not a huge fan of it, to be quite honest. And it's not about moving off of Oweh. It's not about that. It's just about I thought they were gonna get a higher pick, not just a late round and then a safety who isn't all of that.
True that. Kerry?
Yeah, so you know, I expected them to be moved. Like I said, me and Chris, we were talking about it yesterday. When you have a team that's this beat up and you only play 37% of the snaps, you know, it's a situation where it's no longer serving either party to keep moving forward. So I expected that. I honestly expected that the return would be around the 5th round pick, just based off of what veterans normally go for and just his up and down play. To me, the Gilman thing was a surprise, but I wonder if it was more of not necessarily a positional thing, more of a, hey, we'll give you a 5th for Oweh, but we're not going to absorb this whole salary, so we got to send you some kind of salary back. And the Ravens was like, okay, well, you can send me salary back, but don't send me any dead salary. I need somebody that's going to be useful. And that's kind of what it more boiled down to, a useful player, and they're able to, you know, I think he's like $2.4 million or something like that. So, you know, essentially they were able to kind of absorb a little bit more so that the Chargers don't take on that whole hit of Oweh's contract, because it's only like 8, but still 8 at this time of the year is a lot to be taken on, especially for a player that isn't like, we're not talking about Lawrence Taylor here. We're talking about a dude that you're taking a flyer on. So, you know, all in all, I thought it was an okay move. It was a divorce that, you know, needed to happen. You know, I hope for Oweh that a change of scenery does him well, because his regression to me has just been kind of weird. This guy a guy that's like doesn't look like he's playing with a lot of confidence.
Right.
And I think that confidence starts with how the organization feels about you. And if you're not being pushed by the organization, especially as a young player that's still trying to find your way, that's gonna lead to issues like this. Is it still a little shocking to see him fall this far? But for him, I wish him the best out there, and hopefully he's able to kind of rehab his value some.
Jose?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, man. Like, yes, if it's a precursor to another big move, like people say, the open up cap room, all right, we can wait and see. But knowing this organization, they did it just to save money. No particular reason, just because they wanted some extra money to make no move, because that's the type of thing that EDC does. But I mean, look, man, like me and B felt like we should have just kept Owe and re-signed him. We thought he could turn into a solid player, not a great player, but we don't have great players here, right?
How long ago that was when y'all thought that?
This off season. Off season. Yeah.
It couldn't have been this week.
No. I mean, everybody's playing bad, right? I'm not. What's going on right now? I'm not holding it against any individual player per se. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to turn into a solid player. I think he is a solid player now. And I think that's somebody we could have brought back for a solid deal. We always talk about getting bargain players. That'd have been somebody I felt like going into his prime. We could have gotten some solid production out of him for not a lot of money. And we hope that somebody like Mike Green can turn into that type of game wrecker that we're looking for, that we don't want to pay for.
Gotcha. Sutton?
Yeah, I tend to disagree with what Jose said and what Chris said on these fronts. I think that with the messaging that's coming from this 1-4 team right now, you guys all heard Harbaugh say yesterday, basically it was a lot of coach speak, but the overall messaging is that, like, hey, look, the sky isn't falling, the season is not over. And I think that, of course, as we know, John Harbaugh, Eric DeCosta, Steve Bisciotti, they're in lockstep with each other when it comes to the philosophies of this team. Therefore, I think we ain't done yet. And I think that Eric DeCosta is going to use this move, take that pick, and package it with something else to take a big swing before that November 4th trade deadline. Because, again, they can either go one of two ways with this. This either means that the Ravens are, punting the season and are going to start offloading players for draft capital and things like that, or it means that they're stockpiling some capital and some resources right now to go ahead and make a big swing to try to salvage the season. I tend to think it's the latter. You know what I mean? 1-4, knowing Lamar Jackson did not play the last game, knowing that he's going to be coming back probably after the bye, week 8 versus Chicago and Baltimore. I think that they're going to make a big swing here. And I think that this is just the first part of it. You may see Mark Andrews traded away next. You know what I mean? You may see some other picks packaged from this upcoming year's draft packaged together to go ahead and make a big swing after maybe a Jeffrey Simmons, after maybe a Larry Ogunjobi, or after Daquan Jones, or after, one of these guys, maybe to fit on the defensive line, maybe even an edge rusher. I see some guys throwing out Kayvon Thibodeau. The opportunities and the options are out there. If Eric DeCosta can get on these phones and make a big deal happen, like we've seen him do in season before, I think he makes it happen again this time. I don't think that they're punting on the season.
So I'm in and I wanted everybody to go first before me, because I want to see if people thought what I thought. And my opinion of this move is a little bit different. God damn. Appreciate you, B.
Hey, there
Appreciate
you
you. Appreciate you. Hey, oh yeah, we already talked about that, doing a little thing for my wife. So I'll get back with you when it's over with, to kind of get some logistics about what I asked you about in the DMB. I appreciate it. I appreciate the 50, man. Hey, that's big time right there. That's big time. But what I was gonna say is, as far as Ojabo, and I think somebody mentioned about the team not wanting him, I think, and his confidence. I think, Kerry, you said about his confidence, right?
Yeah.
Always.
So, wait, that's what I mean. I'm sorry. Just his confidence. Just look at his body. Remember, he was small and got big, and he was big and got small, and then went back big. He can't even figure his own body out, like where he needs to be productive. So to me, that's why I agree with you with the confidence part. And then the other reason I think this move was made, I think the reason they threw in Gilman is because they want to put a guy back there, whether that be Gilman or person we're gonna talk about later, to move Kyle closer to the ball and let Kyle be more of that game record. So I don't think Gilman is like a needle mover. I think he moves the needle mover closer to the line of scrimmage and makes that needle mover go back into that unicorn. I that's what I think. I don't know what truth is out there, but that's what I think. And then I wrote this down when Sutton said it, and this could be a question for you, Sutton, and it could be for anybody if you think this way. If you talk about a big swing, what big swings do you kind of like? What are you contemplating? What are you thinking, or you just do you have something in mind, or what?
Well, for me, if you look at this Ravens team and their pressure rate, they actually have the 26th highest pressure rate in the league, which is not good. Bottom third of the league, obviously. And they have the lowest sack rate in the league. And getting rid of a guy who Odafe Oweh, who I know most Ravens fans were sick and tired of, including myself, right? He was one of the leaders of this team in terms of pressuring the quarterback, right? So getting rid of him and fully relying on Kyle Van Noy, fully relying on a rookie Mike Green, Atavius Robinson, who's still a little bit green himself, I don't think that that's going to be the play here for this 1-4 Ravens team who still believes that they can make a run. Again, like I mentioned some of the names before, you've got like a Jeffrey Simmons out there who the Titans might be willing to trade for. If obviously the Titans are still in rebuild mode. If you give them some draft capital, they might be happy to deal Jeffrey Simmons to you. There's a couple other names as well on the Bills, have a little bit of a log jam at defensive line right now. Only problem is I don't really see the Bills giving away one of their a key piece to a competitor. That's where it's going to get tricky, but that's where Eric DeCosta's got to work his magic. But I think that, with Oweh, the void of Oweh now, and kind of losing that pressure, even though he wasn't getting sacks, but losing that pressure to avoid the pass rush looking even worse than it already did, they've got to replace Oweh in some way, shape, or form. It's got to be either an interior D lineman who's going to, eat up some of those double teams in the middle that Travis Jones is currently dealing with, or it's going to be another edge rusher, a bona fide, proven, productive NFL edge rusher that they're going to bring in. It's got to be somebody, though.
Any one of you other guys think it's a big swing out there to be had?
I would hope to God there is. But I need to see it before it's just I can't just put blind faith into it and just be like, yeah, they're gonna make a deal. I don't know that. And who would that be? Like, Sutton said, it could be a Jeffrey Simmons or somebody of that nature, but I need to see it before I just put faith into it happening.
Yeah, I think if they're taking a big swing on defense, then they're wasting their time. There's nobody on defense that can help this team. It's too glaring that the help needs to be on the offensive line, and teams seldom give up good O linemen during the season. So I don't know. I don't see it. Like I said, there's nobody. The problems on defense go far beyond just the players, right? It's a whole scheme. There's no single person that's going to come in here and change that culture. It's not going to make anybody tackle better. You know what I'm saying? Miss assignments. It has to. You have to support Lamar Jackson. If you're not supporting Lamar Jackson, that's always been our thing. You're not trying to win.
Yep. Like Mike said, you ain't protecting for the Ferrari. You got something to add to it, Kerry? Go ahead.
Yeah, to kind of double back on Sutton's thoughts, I think he's on to something here, and I think about it from the standpoint of he found a very specific situation with the GM and with the Chargers. Used to be here, part of drafting no way, take that flyer. So we don't know how many situations in the league were out there where they could have moved away and got a pick back. So they took that while they could. Now, like Sutton said, they could use this pick and other picks to package and make a move to get somebody else. But the first move was to make this move, get the capital, free that up. All the other 31 teams, you don't know how many more of those teams like Oweh, but all these teams like picks. So Sutton, he's on to something there, and and I agree with Jose. This is a lot to fix, and it's not going to be fixed this year. But if they can string a couple wins together and it does prove to be somewhat worth saving on the season, you know, I have my reservations as to if that's going to be possible. But if it is, if you can make a move like he mentioned, a Jeffrey Simmons or Kayvon Thibodeau, I think that on top of, you know, some of the guys we just, you know, we're going to talk about today and some scheme tweaks can stop the bleeding. You know, you're not going to turn this team into a top 5 defense, but can you get to 15? Can you get to 18? And can you shuffle some chairs on the offensive line? You know, Jose made another great point. People aren't giving offensive linemen away.
Right.
So this is going to be internal. Bullock, is he better than what you have you going right now?
Yeah.
Kenyon Green, is he better than what you have going right now? Is there a willingness to stop being stubborn and say, hey, this isn't working, we got to try something? And can you find lightning in the bottle with one of these guys, whether it be, you know, Kenyon Green, Bullock, even Ben Cleveland, just something that can be better than what we're seeing.
Maybe even in a couple weeks, Emery too.
Yeah. Yep.
Or Vincent. That's 5 different offensive linemen right there. Throw something at the board.
Yeah.
Throw something at the board and see if it stick. But let's move on to this new guy right here. We got Aloha Gilman. We also got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Super Bowl champion. And these words came from Garnett, but I agree with them wholeheartedly. So CJ is one of the guys that would be on the team from the old Ravens. He has that dog mentality. He has that Marcus Peters mentality. So with CJ, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, is what he can bring mentally and the not the culture, but the attitude he brings. Can that help the defense, or is the risk too much? And I'll start with you, Jose.
No, I don't think he does anything for this team, man. Like, I mean, yes, you want some of those guys on defense. Like you want some of those dudes that bring that attitude. But man, they gotta be good. And CJ ain't good enough for that, man. He not, you know, nobody's gonna follow his lead on this team. You know what I'm saying? Like, will he make some plays individually? Will he go out there and maybe understand positioning and where to be on the field and tackle a little bit better? Yeah, sure, but I don't know where are these snaps going to come from. Whose snaps is he going to take? Are they going to, you know? I mean, I guess Hamilton's out. He'll take that spot, but I don't know, man.
By the time he play, Hamilton will be back.
Yeah, so I mean, he taking Malachi snaps. You know, we drafted him in the first round. Like Malachi's supposed to be that guy. That's my whole problem with drafting safeties in the first round, right? Twice. Like we get guys on that side of the ball, and if they're not ready to play, we have to immediately go out there and replace them and find that guy right now. On the offensive side, we get guys that are not ready to play. They'll figure it out. You know, like stop investing so much time on that side of the ball trying to get it right. They're not going to get it right. John Harbaugh is not going to fire Zach Orr. Zach Orr is not ready to be a defensive coordinator. They're not going to get it right this year. They might get marginally better. That's a waste of time. Try to get better on that offense.
Sudden?
I mean, for this one, I covered my show that I did about an hour ago, and I said this. I said CJ Gardner-Johnson, like, you know, I can't necessarily say that I love it. I also can't necessarily say that I hate, only because the Ravens have very minimal financial risk with the CJ Gardner-Johnson move. And I know, Jose, you're all about defunding the defense. Don't put, you know, any more money on that side of the football. And I'm starting to kind of agree with you, to be honest with you.
We didn't put money over there with this move.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We didn't spend money with this move. So I think that, you know, like Coach said, from like an attitude perspective, a guy who's going to be a dog, you know, bring him in, just his mentality alone, it could go 2 ways. He could either be really good, or you could see some of those miscommunication problems that you saw with Houston and him lacking some of that accountability that needed to be taken for him making some of those mistakes. And that could cause really bad things to happen in this locker room right now. Either way, kind of like, the Ravens getting safety Aloha Gilman for Odafe Owe. Also acquiring a 5th-round pick. Ravens acquiring safety CJ Gardner-Johnson. All of these moves seem like putting band-aids on bullet wounds. I get that. But something had to be done, right? Something had to be done in order to make this defense at least just a little bit more competent. And like our guy Coach, he led the show with this. He said this was probably to get some more, probably some 3 safety looks, get Kyle Hamilton closer to the box. And I think this will allow for that. Malachi Starks, he's not going to get his snaps taken away. Malachi Starks he's got like 346 snaps, which leads any defensive player in the league right now. Malachi Starks, rookie. So he's kind of set in stone in his place. Ruben Lowry is a guy who I would assume they want to get off the field a little bit more. The UDFA, obviously, he's not ready to rock right now. We saw that in the Texans game for the most part. So I think bringing in a CJ Gardner-Johnson, that kind of alleviates that. You can get Kyle Hamilton closer to the box. And what that's going to do is allow Kyle Hamilton to create chaos, which is something that the Ravens have not been creating on defense at all. They've been completely reactionary, allowing offenses to attack them. This move, I think, allows them get Kyle Hamilton in a better position, much like last year, right? We had to make a change with Kyle Hamilton last year and it flipped the defense night and day, pretty much overnight. And I think that they're hoping for a similar thing to happen now. But again, from the surface level, it does again look like they're putting band-aids on bullet wounds. So we got to curb our expectations. So I can't say I hate, can't love it. I mildly like it. I'll give it that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Kerry?
So I'll get this first part out of the way. So you got 2 first-round safeties, but you've added 2 safeties today. That's kind of cringy. But with that being said, I do have a little optimism with this move. Like when I saw the signing, I was listening to that new Chance the Rapper, and he got a line in one of the songs where he says, "Everybody crazy till I play crazy, then don't nobody want to play no more." That's CJ.
That's CJ. That's CJ.
That's him. And when I think about this move, I think about what I've seen the last couple of weeks as far as body language on defense. I'm looking at dudes that look defeated. This is past just giving up a play or 2 here and there. I'm looking at bad energy. I'm looking at defeated players. And we're talking about somebody that's going to come in, they're going to bring that energy, and somebody that's going to speak up. These are a lot of young guys, not a lot of cachet in the league. If something's not going right, I don't think CJ is the type of dude that's just going to sit by and not say nothing. I think he's going to say something. Now, I don't know how far that's going to go. I don't know how much change that's going to actually make. But to me, having that kind of energy in the building is, it's a chance that could help. And then, as you guys have pointed out, with the 3 safety looks, getting Kyle into the box. I mean, I think when you look at them adding 2 safeties to me, that tells me that, hey, this is an understanding that we don't have disruptors in the room. The one disruptor we got to play them back deep. So what do we need to do? We need to acquire some guys that we can trust to play back so we can get him in the box and get him, in disruption mode. I watched a little bit of Gilman before we jumped on, and I think he can just be solid, an addition. I don't think you want him moving side to side, but I think he's physical, he's smart, and I think he can give you decent enough snaps. So to me, this is 3 safety looks. However long Roquan is out, this enables them to get Simpson off the field and get Kyle up there beside Buchanan. And then, when Rowe comes back, then you have another option. But I have some optimism on this move.
Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not a big risk bringing him in my opinion. Just when it comes to on the field play, like Sutton said, they have the UDFA there, Lowry. His head was spinning during the game,
right?
So I don't mind bringing in a vet, someone who's played at a fairly high level before in this league. Obviously, his play has dipped off a little bit. he wouldn't be a free agent if it wasn't for the attitude that he has. Because everywhere that he's gone, he's caused trouble. Florida, he was trouble. With the Saints, obviously, he was trouble. Eagles, they were one and done with him. Texans, they
double back though, didn't it?
For what? For the Eagles?
The Eagles double back with him. Didn't
Yeah.
Oh, so he was two seasons.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 seasons, and then the Texans were just like, yeah, nah, this ain't for us.
And the Lions too.
The Lions, yeah, I forgot about the Lions. So this is a guy who's had some troubles along the way, but hey, desperate times call for desperate measures, and right now beggars can't be choosers. So, he's not the typical Ravens guy as far as the Harbaugh era has been going, where he likes to get those high character guys, but they're at the point right now where they don't really have much of a choice.
Yeah, like I said, I think this move is to help bring Hamilton closer to the box. I think Jose asked like who would CJ help. A couple of names came to mind when you said that. Nate Wiggins is one. And Jair Alexander. I think the energy of them three, now it might not necessarily affect they play, but I think all of them are, let's say Nate's a younger version of those two, and figure out what I'm talking about. All of them are that, and I think they'll feed off each other and maybe inspire somebody else to grow some balls in that locker room and speak up when shit ain't going right.
Jair Alexander been in the league, this is his 8th year. Like, that troubles me if somebody needs to inspire him.
No. Them three do the inspiring.
Oh, you mean like they feed off each other's energy type?
Yeah. And but then, like I say, they may inspire somebody that's like good on the team to not be scared. That's somebody that's with some real influence to go say, look, to the break. Look, something gotta happen. Because you can see what type of dude Jair is. Jair probably, hey man, you gonna let that shit fly? No, dog, you can't. I know he and somebody here tell him like, if he don't like what he pumping somebody up.
Yeah,
I think CJ's like that. I think the person that might pump up is Nate.
Okay,
and Nate ain't going nowhere. He out there in the corner.
Well, so
we need some Owens to pump up these YNs. That's what we need, basically.
Basically, what I was saying.
so if we going on this crash out tour, why don't we make a stop over to Christian Wilkins' house?
Hey, let's get it.
I mean,
bring everybody.
If we going all in this route, let's just go ahead and just pick them up. Tell them, hey, look, you can come on, team, yo. You just gotta wait till everybody leaves the locker room. Then you can come and change.
In his contract, don't touch no foreheads.
Let him change in the parking lot.
You come to the game with your clothes on. We got another super chat. Appreciate it, Jay. Jerry dropped 20 says been screaming trade always since the draft. Could have gotten quality picks and a good return player. I agree with you 100%, Jay. But I'll do you one even better. The dude that's still on the team should have never got there. Ojabo. Because if they would have picked the person I told him to pick, we wouldn't be in some of these situations. We wouldn't be worried about no Rashad Bateman. We'd be worried about no D-Hop. We have a young, faster, I ain't gonna say better catch range because that's hard to say with D-Hop, but we'd have a younger D-Hop almost, just a crash out version. Because that's who need to be next. Soon as Adisa Isaac get healthy, Ojabo, you got to go. So you got to go. You got to get up out of there. All right, let's move on to let's actually talk about this game. So let me get this off. 34-point margin tie for the worst home loss in Ravens history. What does this kind of loss say about the team morale, fan expectation, and front office accountability? And we'll start with you, Kerry.
Yeah, I mean, I think it says a lot. What I'll say is there were a couple things, and me and Chris, we talked about this before the season. I was confident in the team, and I said I had two concerns. One was that the getting tight in high leverage situations that would continue, and then also if they ran into a matchup where there were enough disruptors on the defensive line on the other team that they could just hijack a game because of the deficiencies at guard for the Ravens. Well, somehow all that stuff got worse. So, like, looking back at it, like a couple of assumptions I made. One was that the defense, the way the defense ended, the baseline of that was what they were going to come into the season with. Clearly, we've seen that hasn't been the case. And, you know, I think we can all kind of connect the dots and say, hey, Dean Pease was in the building in week 6. The defensive turnaround started in week 8 to the end of the season. Dean Pease is not in the building anymore. Defense reverted back to what it was before.
Mhm.
So, you know, that's one thing. That's one, you know, assumption that I made. And then also another assumption I made was I think I gave this team a little bit too much credit as far as the talent on defense.
Me too.
You know, this, I've talked about it in previous episodes. Like, this is a team that lacks disruptors, but then also just overall, I think this is a team that has defensive talent. They have good players, but again, who are the guys that are really, really out there making plays that are like galvanizing the people around them? You know, we just don't have that, man.
Right.
And, you know, hopefully this kind of loss creates some urgency. Hopefully these moves are the start of that urgency. But, you know, honestly, man, it's a microcosm of some of the moves that weren't made. And so the weaknesses are just sticking out like sore thumbs right now. And, you know, the people that made the decisions to ignore these positions, they got to wear that, man.
Mm-hmm. Got to. Jose?
No, this is just a culmination of everything that me and B have been saying over the years with Eric DaCosta, right? And just him taking on a system that he inherited from Ozzie when the league is changing and going in a different direction. Is in a different direction now. And even though it's clear as day, you know, he's too stubborn and Harbaugh's too stubborn to adapt to that because they feel like they don't have to conform to the norm, and you know they want to zig when everybody zags. So you prioritize linebackers over edge rushers, safeties over cornerbacks, tight ends over wide receivers, right? Like all the positions that are impactful, you don't want to put any investment in, and you feel like, well, we don't have to pay those players. We don't have to pay $30 million for a Tyreek Hill. We can just go and draft Rashad Bateman and it'll work out because we're such a great organization. And you get Rashad Bateman who quits on plays. You know what I'm saying? You know, you get edge rushers that, you know, they can run 4.3, but they can't get a sack.
Right.
You know, you don't get those impactful players. And even when there's a player that's available for you, like Parsons, you don't do what it takes to go out there and get him. Right. Like people that can really make impacts on this team. And the difference between a Micah Parsons and a Owe, right? You could look at Owe last year, 10 sacks, none of them that impactful. Michael Parsons, Myles Garrett, you know, TJ Watt, they make timely plays. When they need to get somebody off the field, they're going to get that person off the field. You know, we don't have players like that on defense. We don't have leaders like that anymore. And they keep wanting to throw money and picks on that side. And it's been a failure and completely neglecting the offensive side. And that's what we have right now. Like, I knew this team was bad. The team has always been bad. They're poorly constructed. They look good because Lamar Jackson holds them up. The minute he's out, this is what you get. This is who they are. That's why I don't see them I don't see one move making them better. The problem is you have young players that have potential. They have a lot of potential, but they need coaching. But you also have, like we talked about last week, you have a coaching staff that's learning on the job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you gotta go on Zoom calls with Chuck Pagano. I didn't even realize he wasn't even in the building. I saw that tweet where they're saying that Zach always been on the phone with Chuck Pagano. What you mean on the phone? I thought you hired him. Why isn't he in the building?
Wait, he isn't there?
No.
Right? No,
I saw it when Jose saw it.
They hired
I
the
heard he
Zoom
was in
coach.
the building though. Zach Orr, I saw Zach Orr say in a press conference last week that oftentimes Pagano comes into his office and they talk and stuff like that. So
Wasn't it?
maybe it's just like
Wasn't
kind of
it Dean?
sparingly.
Wasn't
It
it
might
Dean
be
Pease?
Pease.
It was Dean Pease.
He's the over the phone consultant, like strict. Yeah.
The tweet we saw earlier said Pagano, right?
It might have been Pease. I just remember when you
think it was
mentioned it. It might have been Pease. I remember when you mentioned it, I was like, I thought he was hired too though. They got the two Pease, so it might have been Pease, but still,
All right,
he needs to be there. It's still the same.
Well, Pease
thing.
is retired. I get it. He's retired, so I understand that. But when this is your window. This is your window to win. You can't be experimenting like this.
Yeah.
Because Chuck got DBs, right?
Yeah, he's a secondary consultant or something like that. He's a secondary consultant. You can't play around with this. You can't gamble with guys that you project to be good. Because that's what's going on with this team. You have guys that you're projecting to be good, but they haven't proven anything. Championship teams don't do that. You get guys that you know can play, and you develop those other guys and let them earn their way onto the field. Nobody's earned their way onto the field, you know. So it's a mess all around, and it's not going to get better until Harbaugh and EDC leave, man. Like this, that's just the bottom line. Harbaugh now, even though everybody knows Zach Orr isn't ready, Harbaugh's like, I'm sticking by him. He's not going anywhere. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? He doesn't care what anybody thinks because he's too comfortable. He's coaching like he's comfortable, not like he's trying to win.
Chris?
Yeah, I mean that was a good old fashioned ass whooping. That was, I mean, it doesn't get much worse than that. You know, they dominated in all phases, and this was, if you watch Texans football this season, it has been dreadful on the offensive side, not the defensive side. On the offensive side, they have been dreadful. Like people are asking, like, can CJ Stroud be salvaged? That's how bad it's been. And they came in here and they just laid their nuts right on the defense's face. So, you know, it's just, it was the demoralizing loss. I mean, you saw everybody on the sideline, everyone after the game, like they were just demoralized. And, you know, I didn't have much faith in this game as far as the Ravens being able to pull it out. But it went worse than I expected it to go. You know, I thought they were going to at least fight, but it was just nothing there.
Did you at least pinch too?
So yeah, man. I'm gonna leave it at that because I gotta dip out. I have some business to attend to, but
did you at least pinch too?
The what?
Nothing.
I didn't hear what you said.
Nothing.
I'm lost.
They got me. You just focused on the endeavor that you got to spin the block on. That's all.
Oh, what about that? Oh, yeah, that endeavor is 3 minutes away. So I will see y'all later.
Peace.
All right, Chris.
Peace, fellas. Y'all be good, man.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm looking at that tweet. It says Chuck Pagano. This is from Jeff Zrebick. Harbaugh said that Ravens are leaning on Chuck Pagano immensely in trying to make the defensive fixes. Chuck is involved. This is a quote. Chuck is involved. He's on the phones making suggestions. Chuck is a great coach, and he's a huge part of it. He and Zach are talking all the time.
It got to be Pease because I've seen Pagano at practice with the DBs.
I don't know what he meant by phones.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, ain't nobody
ahead,
on the
son.
same page in that organization.
Yeah.
That's
Either
probably
way.
what it is right then and there. To be honest with you. They don't know what's going on. Exactly. But no, man, I like
somebody on
much
the phone. I think it was him.
Yeah, I think it was him. I mean, I was on lunch break at the time, and you know, he might have just showed up. But
They might see Chuck. Yeah, I just saw him. He was on his desk.
But no, man, no, I like pretty much what everybody said. I mean, the biggest thing to me, and the biggest thing that this game against the Texans showed me is that, you know, this team is absolutely lifeless without Lamar Jackson. So, I mean, moving forward, I think that this next contract negotiation between Lamar and the Ravens, it's gonna be real simple. Don't even matter that Lamar don't have an official agent and he utilizes his mom for that role. He gonna walk right into Eric DeCosta's office, hand him a blank check, and be like, "You know what to do. We don't even need to talk about this.
Right.
All the proof is in the pudding.
Right.
We saw everything we needed to see. You know what I'm saying? All three phases of the football on Sunday, the Ravens got absolutely dominated. They got walked down. And you know it's a problem. And I know I'm talking about the defense here now, but you know it's a problem when this Ravens defense is giving the opposing team's punter the day off, damn near.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the only punted one time. The punter not getting no work. You had to wake him up off the bench in the fourth quarter. Yeah, you had to wake him up. So it's just completely lifeless, completely soulless. We're really gonna just stumble into this bye week. Surprise, surprise! I do have the Ravens losing against the LA Rams coming up this week. But man, it's just it looks really, really bad in every single way possible. Can't get the run game going. Can't stop the run. The Ravens are giving up 146 yards per game on the ground. That's fourth worst in the league. Again, like we all said, there's just no fight. There's no fight right now, and I don't see any sort of light at the end of the tunnel unless Lamar Jackson comes back healthy, rejuvenated, ready to go with a Pat Ricard. You know what I'm saying? With some of those guys back on defense, some of the guys were paying a boatload of money. That is the only way. The only way. And if there's a flip in the defensive scheme, which it seems to be what they're trending towards right now with some of these moves that they're making, getting some more safeties and things like that, and possibly putting Kyle Hamilton closer to the line, like we've been talking about. But as it stands right now, after that Texans loss, man, and I live here in Houston. So like I see all the people around town, with Texans jerseys on, and they're boasting and they got their chests out, and just pumping their fists and whatnot. Like, yeah, we beat the Ravens. Like, no, you didn't beat the Ravens, bro. You beat a shell of the Ravens, and it's just until Lamar gets back, it'll be more the same, guys.
Agreed. Yeah. We gone because I know Sutton got to move in a minute too. I'm gonna let you get this one, and it's gonna be this one will probably close us out because it's it's a tough one, and you may have to think on it for me. Hey, we got a super chat from Health. Appreciate your Health. Appreciate it. Always great content, fellas. Sorry to say it, Coach. Don't change it, no matter who you bring on or Warhawk demoted. Let them develop a little more. Hey, the way they coach, you either coaching it or you allowing it to happen. So either way, they need to figure something out.
Yeah,
they need to figure something out. Appreciate you. Appreciate the dub as well, though. Appreciate it. The question. Do you have any? That's you?
No, that was me.
Do you have any positive takeaways that you can speak on before you get out of here?
Positive takeaways. I mean, to be honest with you, the only positive takeaway that I have right now is that Lamar Jackson is going to be coming back. And I think that kind of like last year, because I was doing a little film study earlier. You guys know I'm not the biggest film guy, so I look at it from like a purely like a fan perspective. But I was looking at the film earlier today, and one of the biggest problems that I saw with this Ravens offense was the Ravens offensive line, right? And it took me back to last year on how it took a good 5 to 7 weeks for that offensive line to really start to gel and function as a cohesive unit. And so if they don't choose to play musical chairs across the line, which I think for what it's worth, they should try to plug and play some different guys. And Harbaugh kind of hinted at that earlier this week. But I think that, if there is any positive takeaway, that they could possibly start to play a little bit better, because what I saw on tape against the Texans was a run blocking scheme that does not fit the skill set of the guys on that offensive line. You got guys pulling left and right, tripping over each other before they get to their assignments, things like that. Leaving one assignment to go on to the next assignment when they didn't finish their food in the first one. It's just it's crazy. It's stuff going on all over the place, and that's why Derrick Henry's getting hit at the line of scrimmage and before the line of scrimmage. So I think that as those guys kind of build a little bit more chemistry, right, and gel a little bit more, then we can start to see this running get back on track, and everything is going to be predicated off of the running game. So that's the one kind of silver lining I have. Hopefully, it's not a guarantee.
Did you see the stat I posted that Derrick Henry had 0 yards before contact today? I mean Sunday. Zero yards before contact. Do you understand what that means? That means he got no yards before somebody was hitting him. So by the time it took him to get from wherever he lines up to the line of scrimmage every time, he was getting hit.
Hands on
when you look at I forgot who the chat sent me to go find somebody else's same stat, and they had 65. Who had a good game? Judkins. Christian Judkins had 65 yards before contact.
Yeah,
which is crazy. But I agree with you in that aspect. If they don't make a change at the offensive line, they at least got to start playing 5-1, or close to 5-1 as possible. Because like mixing and matching the offensive line ain't ideal, but I feel like we need to try something. But if they don't, hopefully they can start to figure it out. But ain't no wiggle room for none of this stuff that we got going on. So appreciate you, Sutton. So whenever if we hit your time frame, just dip out. But I want to say I appreciate you before you have to do that as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Of course.
Kerry, have a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna come back to the positive thing, but I had a question before Sutton got out of there too. And I want to go back to CJ Gardner-Johnson real quick. I also, when they signed him, I said to myself, I hope this is not a Deontay Johnson part 2.
Oh,
Where they try to lit boy him on a practice squad, and work him in when he better than some of the guys out there, and then it turned into something. What you think? Did that ever cross either one of y'all mind?
Nah, I didn't even think about that until you just pointed it out. So I mean that's on the table, honestly. But to me, if they are truly as desperate, all hands on deck, we're willing to look at anything. If what Harbs is saying, if he's not lying about it, to me, that should alleviate that concern, because like Chris said, beggars can't be choosers at this point. You got issues on top of issues.
Mm-hmm.
So this ain't the time to get cute. This is the time to at the end of the day, regardless of how you feel about CJ, I think I'm a little bit higher on him than probably consensus, just because I think he's a guy that can fill a lot of different roles, and I think he gives you a little bit more on the back end, and I think people will necessarily say, regardless of how you feel about him, he's a proven NFL safety, and we don't have a lot of proven NFL defenders right now. So, we don't have a lot of room to, be turning up our nose at certain players.
Got it. All right. Any positive things that you've seen that can maybe help us, or that you see can be turned around? And Sutton already answered, but this is for Jose and Kerry.
Real quick, fellas, I'm gonna go ahead and drop off now. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all back here next week.
Yes, sir.
Right, appreciate you.
All right, son.
All right. Yes,
sir. What can change? Lamar can come back healthy, right? Not beaten up. They're gonna have to figure some things out on the O-line, right? Like Kerry said earlier. Hopefully Kenyon Green can come in and give something. That's really why I try to hold a little hope, because he's a former first-round pick. He was supposed to be somebody that was very versatile on the O-line, and it just didn't work out for the Texans or the Eagles. Mm-hmm. And maybe he can come here and give us because we're not even asking for that much, right?
Right.
Maybe he can come in and give us a little bit more in that guard play, and we have a little more consistency. We have a little bit more push on the O-line. If we can get marginally better on the O-line, the offense can bail us out on a few more of these games, because that's what we're talking about at the end of the day. When the defense isn't really giving us anything, we need the offense to make that one extra play to close the game out. A better O-line will help us with that.
Positives. I didn't put any money on the game. Zay gave me 12 fantasy points. I mean, honestly, the positive is that they did get their doors blown off. That's a positive. I mean, it's hard to really measure the game too much because of just how many people missed the game, but for them to get beat in the fashion that they did, that makes it harder for people to hold on to their priors, to hold on to their pride, You know, again, I say this a lot. DaCosta was almost prideful that he didn't draft a interior offensive lineman, you know, talking about Voorhees and talk about Faalele. That pride has to go now.
Facts.
Right.
But you know, you get beat like this, you know, by a team that I joked in the group chat, said CJ Stroud had 3 passing touchdowns in the first half of that game. It might take him to November to get 3 more. the way that offense looks. So that's the takeaway is they got beat so soundly that pride has to go out the window now. You have to admit your mistakes, and hopefully they will admit their mistakes, and you will really look at that interior offensive line. We're not asking for world beaters. We're just asking for competence. It's all we need is competence there. You know, for Derrick Henry to have 0 yards before a contact is unacceptable, especially in this situation, because you're down players, you're down your starting quarterback. What do most teams do? Okay, well, let's make it simple. Let's try to play keep away. Let's run the ball. You know, let's play ball control. Well, we can't play ball control because as soon as you snap the ball, the defenders is breathing down your running back's neck. So, you know, that's got to change, man. So hopefully, again, their pride is hurt enough to say, okay, we got to let go some of this stuff. You know, this isn't going how we expected it to go. You know, we've committed some malpractice at the interior offensive line. We committed some malpractice as far as the interior D line, because Jenkins playing 74% of the snaps at this point is unacceptable.
How you feel about Jenkins, Kerry?
I like him, but 74% of the snaps is too much, man. You know, he to me is
man 15, done at halftime.
10, 15 snaps a game. You can't run this guy out for. I think he played 54 snaps.
You can't.
Xavier Howard retired. He might retire after this. Say, hey man, I ain't signed up for this, man.
I expected him to just come in and get 15 to 20 snaps a game.
Right.
And he probably thought the same thing. Because he what, 34, 35?
Yeah.
Them tires about to pop. Not to cut you off. Are you finished with your positive?
Oh yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. With me, I'm kind of like you. Even when I typed this question up, I was thinking about like what positivity can I get out of it, and I fought with like what is it on the field that I've seen positive, and what I come up with is nothing on the field, and my positive probably gonna seem like a negative. But I think this franchise actually sees the importance of Lamar Jackson. I think that's the positive that I can find. They actually see how important he is, not just to the offense, but to the defense. Because with Lamar out there, there's no way our boy Jenkins playing 50 whatever snaps. And there's no way that we only averaging between 50 and 40 snaps a game. Because he gets first downs, he keeps the offense on the field, lets your defense rest. Now, if he was a 3-and-out merchant, your defense would be in the same situation because they're going to be tired. But Lamar Jackson keeps the offense on the field. He keeps it rolling. He gets us out of bad situations. Do he make a bad decision every now and then? Yes. But with all the stuff that he do, like when stuff break down because the scheme ain't the greatest, you got to take the good with the bad. And because there's been a lot more good than it is bad. And, you know, the bad probably stands out because of when it happens. But there's a boatload more good than bad. And I think them understanding that, look, right, he's everything. He's the steering wheel, the gas, the tires, the Ravens themselves, just the frame. He everything else. And they need to take care of it.
And like you said, Coach, like he impacts the defense as well, not just by giving them a rest, but keeping them in the game late in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the defense feels there's a bigger sense of obligation to go out there and play and try to make something happen. You know, they've been failing, but they, you know, there's more effort there because it's like, well, damn, man, like they working to keep us in this game. We got to go out there and do something.
Mhm.
But when the offense only giving you 10 points, you know, then it's just like, well, you know, we're cooked. We're not, you know, what's the point of go out there and try and make a play? We're not winning this game, you know.
Yeah, but that's the only positive I could figure out. So we got the Rams coming in Sunday. I'll be watching along with you guys because I'll be on the road. So hopefully we get a win. Hopefully we don't. Well, yes, a thumbs up or down on the win, Jose.
Oh no, we're cooked. Yeah.
Kerry?
Nah,
Nah,
not gonna happen.
Yeah, I didn't think so either, but I will end on this. I didn't think so either. But hold on, I got two things to end on. 839 people watching right now. Mostly, I don't know which platform you're on, but if you're on Twitter, come on, subscribe to YouTube. That way you can chat, because if you chatting in Twitter, I can't see it. I ain't figured that out yet. So make sure you come on over to YouTube, subscribe, and join in all this good conversation that's going on the screen and off the screen. And I appreciate y'all for watching. Whatever 800, however y'all in here, I appreciate y'all. I saw it and I forgot. Oh, go to the second channel. Go to the second channel as well. I dropped my top 5 games of the week over there. I dropped what Florida State got done to them by Miami. So we kind of spreading out over there. So if you just want good football talk, go over to More Sip the Tally as well. And you can also find Jose where?
Every Wednesday at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time on the LBHT show. Me and my brother Brodney, we are the Lunch Break Hot Take. Go check us out.
Link in the description. Kerry, you got an answer for the other two. I normally get this question. You can ask. That don't mean we got an answer for you. That's how this question normally gets answered. So y'all recording this week.
We trying to make it happen, man. We got some scheduled stuff we working through. So we trying, if not, to be definitely next week. Also, Fire Zone show. Make sure y'all check that out on Spotify. They've been pumping out episodes. I think they're
every
going
Friday,
this
right?
week. Yeah. Now, I think I heard Mike say they are recording this week. So make sure y'all check that out too. And
if the Fire Zone show, the difference is the Fire Zone is strictly defense. It's with Mike and Denard. It's strictly defense, and Denard's a former linebacker, so he get real passionate about what Slowcorn be doing. Everybody's link is in the description. And on that note, man, I appreciate y'all for coming out. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all chose to be here with us. And on behalf of Chris and Sutton, we'll see y'all next week. Peace, y'all.
Yes, sir.